Yo, guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the locker room. We are back with another great episode for you today, as it is finally draft season, ladies and gentlemen. As of today, we are exactly 1 month away from the NFL draft. It is getting very exciting. I always love draft season, but I also hate it because I'm a Raiders fan. We always take terrible picks, but it cannot get ruined this year because we do not have a first-round pick. We got Devonta Adams instead. So we'll talk about that in a different episode as I am ecstatic, but we will talk about that in our free agency recap episode. I'm going to try and get a special guest on for that episode. Maybe so, maybe not. Depends on his availability. But with this episode, we're just going to be talking NFL quarterbacks coming into the 2022 NFL draft. I have 7 quarterbacks here to talk about for you today. And I have my list ranking all of these 7 quarterbacks in a somewhat controversial list. It just depends on how you view guys. And to be honest, my viewing is a little bit different than others. Some lists that I have compared to some guys on the WMP podcast. I have some different lists than them. So it's going to be interesting to see my list and compare it to their list and compare it to everyone's list. So you guys should drop your list down in the comments so I can look at it, compare. Maybe I'll agree with you, maybe I'll not, but make sure you go ahead and drop that list in the comments and tell me why you like them. I don't want to just see your list. I know it's a lot to ask, but I do like to see the reasoning behind it, not that just, oh, you like their name or their college, anything like that. But go ahead, drop your list in the comments as we're going to go ahead and start off with my list. And this is probably going to be the most controversial take that I do on this one. And that is going to be at number 7 out of my top 7 quarterbacks. At number 7, I have Carson Strong, quarterback out of Nevada. I have seen a lot of hype surrounding Carson Strong. And to be honest, I really do not get it. I don't see any solidness in here. I don't see any NFL-ready strengths in his ability. Sure, I think he could be maybe top 20 quarterback in the league. I do not think he's that good. He reminds me a lot of a little bit more athletic Phillip Rivers. His mobility is not good. Everyone says he's accurate, and I did not see it the first time. I rewatched some of his film, and he does make some very accurate throws, but for the most part, I don't think he's as accurate as everyone's making him out to be. He's got a decent arm, I'll give you that. He has a pretty good arm strength, which is all he's really got going for him. His accuracy is borderline average, in my opinion. Then you go over to his mobility, which is god-awful, why I'm partially comparing him to Phillip Rivers. To me, he is a less accurate but more athletic Phillip Rivers. That is what I see Carson Strong as. And then his pocket presence, I do not think is that great. And then overall, his just sense to read a defense that I have seen on field and making reads on the field in quick situations, adapting to the situation on the field. I have not seen many great plays that he's done that. There's been some, but I have not seen overall a good ton of those plays to where I can move him any higher on this list than these other quarterbacks. So for those reasons is why I have him so low. A good team fit that I can really see Carson Strong fitting into is more of the Vikings, because I do think that he is somewhat similar to Kirk Cousins, and we have seen Kirk Cousins do a lot of great things in that Viking system. So sure, they do have a new coach coming in, but I think that if there was one team who would want to take a bet on Carson Strong, it would definitely be the Minnesota Vikings. I think that they could possibly develop him into a decent quarterback, but overall, if he goes to any other team, I really do not see any potential development with this quarterback at all. So that is why I have Carson Strong at number 7. Moving on to number 6, a guy that is going to be controversial on this list. His stats definitely show up for it. And that is why I have him this high, but I also do like him better than Carson Strong that I saw on tape. That is going to be Bailey Zappi, quarterback out of Western Kentucky. Senior, 6'1", 220. Holy crap, this guy's stats. I mean, I'm going to read these off to you. 5,967 yards. First in college football. I believe that is a college football record, NCAA record. 62 touchdowns. to 11 picks. I believe the 62 touchdowns is a NCAA record. Do not confirm me on that. That is just what I'm going off of. I believe that it is a record. He has shown some major improvement this year from last year. Last year, he only threw for 1,800 yards. 2019, 3,800 with 35 touchdowns and 15 picks. That was one of his last full seasons. But this year, transferring to Western Kentucky, this guy was insane. And then this guy, Bailey Zappi, he's more of a shorter, beefier guy, you know, like a little tinier, but he does have some beef on him. More of a more built type, I would say. Not really muscle, but more of just kind of a smaller Mac Jones, in my opinion. So that's the way. But he is very mobile for his size. Sure, he's 6'1", but for his weight, I do think that this guy is mobile, and I think he is very good at getting out of the pocket and feeling the pocket presence. My biggest I'll stay with my positives. From what I've seen on film, he is decently accurate. He is pretty good with accuracy. And then his arm strength, I don't know if it's quite there, kind of leaning him back on this list. Arm strength is questionable to me, but he is able to extend the play to somewhat of an extent. But the real reason that I have him this low on this list, because he hasn't played any real competition over at Western Kentucky, and that is more so his college, in which isn't really his fault, but it is. But, you know, it's just that the college that he went to, sure, he put up amazing stats. If this was any other quarterback on this list, they would be at number one just because of the divisions and the teams that they play against. But Bailey Zappi, really not playing great competition. Going over, played FAU, not that great of a team. UTSA, not that great of a team. Rice, not that great of a team. All of these teams are not that great of teams, which is a big downfall compared to the competition that these other guys are facing here on this list, which is really his arm strength, and then his competition is why Bailey Zappi is so low for me, just because his competition, arm strength. Otherwise, he broke NCAA records, and I got to give him his credit for that. So, yeah, Bailey Zappi, I think, is better than Carson Strong, but I would just like to see more out of him before I can confirm him that he's better than these other quarterbacks. Really, if I had to go with a scheme fit or like a team fit, one team that I can see that he would really work in well with, I can see the Saints, because he's kind of reminds me of Drew Brees with the way he moves. He's a lot more mobile than Drew Brees, but in his throwing motion, I do see some similarities there. So I would say the Saints would be a nice landing spot for him. So that is where Bailey Zappi comes in at number 6, and that is why I have him over Carson Strong. As we are moving in to my top 5, and my 5 and 4 have been some real, I've had to debate myself on who I want more in this position. And I've come down to number 5 being Sam Howell. Sam Howell, to me, he is a lot like Baker Mayfield. I feel like he's a lot more mobile Baker Mayfield. He is not that accurate. He's decently accurate, manageable accurate. Arm strength, not quite there yet, but he is a fantastic runner. And he is a fantastic runner. That's all I got to say, really, for his running ability. Rushed for over 800 yards, I believe, at UNC. But overall, I did see him make some great throws. Over the middle, needs some work. And over the top, deep ball, definitely needs some work. Overthrow ability, has a lot of overthrowing. He does have, as I said, decent arm, decent accuracy. Arm strength is manageable. Accuracy is manageable. When I just see Sam Howell on tape, I just see average quarterback, great runner. That's what I see. Reminds me a lot of Baker Mayfield. As I said, a lot better runner, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is beyond average in my opinion, so that's where his build type is kind of like Baker Mayfield too. So that is why I have Sam Howell at number 5, and my number 4 is who I once had at number 5, and now I have at number 4, and that is Desmond Ridder. The reason I swapped him and Sam Howell here is because I think Desmond Ridder is more athletic than Sam Howell, and he's a decently semi-better runner. Sure doesn't have the body, but I do like Desmond Ridder as a NFL quarterback better. I think he's more accurate. Not sure about the arm strength yet, but I do think he is more accurate, and he has, in my opinion, a better ability to extend the play while throwing the ball. So the only thing that could use work is his arm strength, but that is why he's at number 4 to me, is because of how low his arm strength, in my opinion, is here to these other guys. I would also like to see him evolve, and we've really only seen RPO screenplays, all that shenanigans over in Cincinnati. That's really the type of offense they run. I saw a lot of RPOs. I'd like to see him. A similar situation with Matt Corral, who we're going to talk about in a second. A lot of RPOs, and I would just like to see him read the defense. This is more so for Desmond Ridder, because I have seen Matt Corral do those things, but we'll get into Matt Corral in a little bit. But Desmond Ridder's at 4, just because I'm not sure about his arm strength, and I'm not sure if he can quite fit into an NFL playbook and an NFL scheme. So if I had to go with a team, Desmond Ridder's really tough because we do not see a lot of big, skinny NFL players with this guy's type. But if I had to go with one, I'd probably go with the Washington Commanders. I'd probably go with them because he's a little bit like Cam Newton, just not as beefy as Cam Newton. And I feel like Ron Rivera with Cam Newton again could be pretty deadly. So I just think that Desmond Ridder has a manageable arm, very great runner. So that is why I would have him with the Washington Commanders. But finally, we get to our top 3. I'm really excited because there's 2 quarterbacks that I really like. And then there's one quarterback that I just want to see more out of, who I do think can be a very good NFL quarterback. All 3 of these guys, I think, could be great to elite NFL quarterbacks. And number 3, I'm going to have Matt Corral. As I was just talking about it, injury does scare me. That injury does scare me. It wasn't too serious, but shown to have injury. And as I said before, the RPO is not really evolving, not really to see much out of him. But, I have seen more with extending the play and reading a defense mid-throw. I've seen more of that than Desmond Ridder I have seen that from. So that is why I have Matt Corral above him. I think Matt Corral is a really good arm. I think he's very accurate, and I think that he can feel the pocket very, very nice. I feel like he can get out of the pocket. My biggest downfall with him is what I said before. It's just that his ability to read the defense, I do not know if it is quite there yet. That is my biggest negative with a lot of these quarterbacks. And that is probably why this is probably not the greatest quarterback class, because not many of these quarterbacks read NFL defenses at an elite level. Like, for example, a guy that we're going to talk about in a little bit, Desmond Ridder, Bailey Zappi, and Matt Corral, even Sam Howell, are guys who haven't really been able to shown a full read sense and more running screenplays and little short passes. I would like to see more of that, but I do feel like Matt Corral, I have seen some of that from Matt Corral in a lot of his film, which is very nice to see from him, because I do like Matt Corral. And this is another guy that I think the Saints could go ahead and pick. Even at number 18, if Matt Corral falls to them, I think that they should definitely take him. Sure, they did just re-sign Jameis Winston, but Matt Corral is, in a sense, he's very accurate, and that can definitely fit the Saints system, in my opinion. He can mobilize, and he can more run an RPO offense over there, more so than other teams. I really do think that the Saints would be a very nice fit for Matt Corral. So that, and the reason that I just don't know if he can read a defense, but he can read a defense better than Desmond Ridder, is the reason I have him up here at number 3. Now, oh boy, the big two that people have debating about. Who is the best quarterback in this draft? I've seen Malik Willis. I have seen Kenny Pickett. Those are the 2 guys that we're coming down to. More so Malik Willis, because Malik Willis at the combine, people were going crazy over his throws, and people were going berserk over his pro day and all that. But I love Malik Willis. I love Malik Willis. I think he can be a great NFL quarterback. I just love Kenny Pickett more. I do not have a single negative about Kenny Pickett. I have one for Kenny Pickett, which we will get to in a little bit, and I think it's kind of a stupid one, but I have to acknowledge it. Malik Willis, he's mobile. He is Lamar Jackson with an arm. This guy is amazing at football. And it's just his fundamentals that are not his fundamentals, just certain things that he needs to work on that can definitely improve. They're a lot of these, most of these quarterbacks have problems. All of these last 6 quarterbacks have problems. They all have things that they need to fix. But Malik Willis has things he needs to fix. But out of all these quarterbacks, they are the easiest things to fix. Malik Willis has the most potential to live up to his potential. Malik Willis is amazing. His mobility is phenomenal. His way to get out of the pocket is phenomenal. His arm strength is phenomenal. Even his ability to throw on the run is phenomenal. His accuracy is where it kind of starts to dip down. I'm not sure if his accuracy is quite there yet. I just need to see more. I'm going to watch more film later. But before I do my final mock draft, his accuracy, and the biggest thing with his accuracy, in my opinion, he does have a bit of an overthrow problem. I did see that on film. He has a bit of an overthrow problem that I do believe would need to be addressed if he wants to play at an elite level in the NFL. But that is slightly easier problem to fix than all these lower quarterbacks than him. I do think that. And then the biggest thing with Malik Willis is his decision making. He has gone a lot of games throwing multiple interceptions this season, and frankly, that cannot stand in the NFL. You cannot have multiple game interceptions multiple times a year. That's how you lose football games. This guy can put up the stats, but if he is throwing 3 interceptions, what's the point? He's more of a fantasy quarterback. He'll get you the stats, but he'll get great stats, but that could also result in a loss because of his decision-making and his interceptions. You can't have that on an NFL team. He needs to fix the interception problem and his decision-making problem if he wants to be a stud quarterback in the NFL. And I do think that he can fix these problems if he is developed into the right system. And that system, I think, is the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are a nice young team who will build around Malik Willis and give him their full attention. They will be able to develop him. Dan Campbell can work with him. They can get a nice quarterback coach and their offense coordinator. I forgot who their new offense coordinator was, but they can get him in there and they can fix his problems a lot easier than these other quarterbacks can fix their problems, which is why I have him at number 2. Number 1. A lot of you guys are going to hate me for this because Kenny Pickett, oh my God. Kenny Pickett is awesome. I'm going to talk about all of this guy's strengths, and then I will get into his weaknesses. But honestly, this guy overall is phenomenal. I see so many great shades with Kenny Pickett. And we're going to start with his accuracy. I think he has the best accuracy in this draft, no doubt. Yes, Chase, his accuracy is 10 times better than Carson Strong. 10 times better. Carson Strong is garbage. His arm strength, it's not the best in the draft. It's not better than Carson Strong and Malik Willis. But his arm strength is not the highest in the draft, but it is not the worst. But it is good arm strength. It is not bad arm strength. It is very manageable, good NFL arm strength that can be worked with. Then his pocket presence. He has a great ability to feel pressure and escape the pocket and extend the play. His scrambling, when he does run, he can fake slide. He can do anything. He can juke. And the guy is not scared. This guy is 6'3", 220, a taller quarterback or average height quarterback. If he can put on little bit more muscle, he can be great. He can be amazing. His scrambling really fast, in my opinion, for his size. He is really quick and really elusive, in my opinion. He can throw on the run. His decision-making is better than any quarterback in this draft. And his size is going to affect him. My only negative is because I don't even consider this a negative, but I have to address it because it kind of is that his hand size. But everyone brings up he has small hands. He has baby hands. So does Joe Burrow. So does Derek Carr. So does Ryan Tannehill. So does to some degree, Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow, I believe he has 9-inch hands. Derek Carr, 9 1/8 inch hands. Patrick Mahomes, 9 1/4. Ryan Tannehill, 9 1/8. I believe those are the measurements. Those are all top 15 Ryan Tannehill's iffy on top 15. Top 15 NFL quarterbacks having small hands. So to tell me that he is not going to be a good NFL quarterback because of his hand size, that is bullcrap. Don't listen to those haters. They are just mad because Kenny Pickett is better than any other quarterback in this draft. And really, if I have to compare him or give him a fit, I would give him the New York Giants because, oh my God, the Giants need to take this guy at 5 or 7. I do not know how to address this enough. I don't care if you wanted to develop Daniel Jones. You have, in my opinion, a very similar player to Josh Allen with his size, his throwing motion. You have a very similar player to Josh Allen here in Kenny Pickett. And you're telling me that Brian DeBull can meet up again. We saw what Brian DeBull did with Josh Allen, turn him into the best quarterback in the NFL. If you're telling me you can get a Josh Allen, in my opinion, 2.0, fit him with Brian DeBull, who developed Josh Allen at a remarkable level, and get him in that system and give Brian DeBull him, oh my God, if the Giants draft him by year 2, I guarantee you that Kenny Pickett would be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. If he goes to the Giants, he will be a top 5 quarterback at some point in the NFL, in my opinion. That's how good he is. And that is how good I think that system fits him with Brian DeBull, with a similar play style to Josh Allen. I can see also the Washington Commanders a little more smaller Cam Newton with wheels, but if the Giants get him, oh my God, you guys better watch out because the New York Football Giants would be making a run if they do get Kenny Pickett, because I do think that he is phenomenal. And oh my God, if he gets in that system, it would be remarkable results that we would see. So take that hot take right there. Kenny Pickett. If Kenny Pickett goes to the Giants, he will be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL at some point in the NFL. That is my hot take for the episode. And overall, that's going to be it for the episode. So that was my quarterback rankings. Somewhat controversial. Not so sure. You guys go watch WNPs, compare my list to theirs. Me and Mike Mitchelson, the host there, have more of a similar list than Chase Crawshaw, the co-host. But Chase's list is just trash. So you'll see that next year when we're doing this list again. I might compare my list to his list and just show that mine is better. Because Carson Strong at 3? Whoa, spoiler there, but holy crap, that is garbage. But overall, that is going to be it. Wrapping it up here as we did our quarterbacks. That's going to be it. So make sure you drop a like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, share these videos with all your friends, and go check out my Twitter, or the Twitter at TheLockerRoom, and then the Twitter or our TikTok at TheLockerRoom_PO. You'll get a lot of great content there. And we are going to continue and try to upload. And I do have a mock draft type of episode planned with some special guests for the NFL draft right before I'll make sure to upload that. But make sure you like, subscribe, do all the shenanigans. And I'm just going to ask you to drop your list down below. And the question: who is the best quarterback in this year's draft? We'll just have to see and find out from a year from now. But that's it. I'll see you guys next time.